This is episode 6 of What's Been Better. This week, we're talking about ownership. We all have that thing that we just don't want to admit to until someone spells it out or calls us out. If you've been here before, you know we cuss. And if you're new here, please get used to it. Okay. Hi. Oh, look, I got a new nickname. I'm Sylvia today.
Yes.
I'll take it.
As long
I
as
actually
you
like
not
that. I like that better,
okay, good.
actually.
Because I'm like, I can give you a nickname.
I have enough. Don't give me a new one. But I'll take Sylvie. I like that.
I got a little story though, real quick. So I'm
Okay,
in
go.
college, and I used to work in the records office, and I think that's when I started with the nicknames.
Okay.
So I call people booby, shooby, hey honey, little stuff like that. So my boss asked me to do something. So I was like, okay, boobies. Child, why did I do that? So
Uh-oh.
she said, my name is Henrietta Lathan. I am not booby. I was like,
Whoops.
yes. Right. Like she wasn't playing on that ass. Like she just was straight. And she wasn't mad either, but she was just matter of fact. My
Yes.
name is Henrietta Lathan.
I know that's right.
I am not booby. I was like, and I'm so glad she did that though, because I'm a jokey, silly,
Mm-hmm.
happy-go-lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's a love bug to me. I'm love. Hey, love bug. Hey,
Right.
sugarback, and all this stuff. But she did set it straight, and I'm glad she did. So, with that being the case, I'm good for hyphenating somebody's name or giving them a
Mm-hmm.
nickname off their name. Like I'm good for that. But sometimes people will be like not saying nothing to me. And I want you to tell me, just like
Yes.
she was like straight no chaser, like, don't call me that shit. I ain't no damn booby. I am not your booby. Like,
What I am not is your booby.
exactly. And I didn't even take offense or nothing. I was just like,
Mm-mm.
duly noted. I'm not gonna joke with your ass.
Straighten up. You are not to be joked
Mm.
with. Fine.
Right. So Sylvie,
I know.
Sylvia,
I love all of them.
just whatever the flavor is for the day, and so I
You know
just want
what's
to make
funny?
sure I'm not offensive. Yeah.
Sil always it was crazy that you called me that because,
Mm-hmm.
like I told you before, like no one would call me that. Like that was my dad's nickname for me. So it's like hearing it always had like a "aw," but then it always had like a tinge to it, which was always weird. So I was always
Ah,
like, "I don't know how to take it, but I like it, but I don't.
yeah,
But I like it,
yeah.
but I don't." So I'll take Sylvie. I'll
Okay.
take it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your honesty. That's what I'm saying.
Look, if
Like
it's one thing.
yes. Yeah. For me, really, I really would love now, of course, we can't make nobody do shit, but
No.
if we could just say how we feel, that makes a difference for us internally
Mhm.
because we matter. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to be my thing for forever. Like
Yeah.
you matter. Like you're important, and if we can really know that, I can speak up for myself. So I
Yes.
really really appreciate you, Sylvie. Thank you for speaking
Which is why I wanted to do this episode. But
up.
we cannot just jump right in and skip over the most important part. Lori, what's been better?
Girl, oh, I'm glad you asked. First thing is first.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody has ever experienced cutting off of some food and eating that bitch. And what I mean by that is I know I have my hydroponics and I've
Mhm.
been growing my fruit. I mean not fruit, but my vegetables.
Mhm.
I cut off some cilantro and put it in my food last night.
Welcome to the harvest game. Welcome.
It felt, let me tell you, it felt so good.
It
I
does.
got just enough. I got what I need. I didn't have to wash that shit off because I see it growing. I didn't have to be concerned about any the pesticides they put in it because it wasn't none. It was just
Mhm.
and it was real. Like it was healthy and I ingested it and really took in all the nutrients and I was thankful. It was a beautiful angelic spiritual event. It really
I
was.
love it.
It was awesome. And I even had some kale,
Okay.
and Tori was on the phone with me. I was like, Tori, because I showed her a picture of it because it's growing crazy. It's growing
Mhm.
like crazy, right?
You have
And
to
so
like, share this.
okay, cool. I'll send it to you because you know how I am about.
I know.
I mean,
We're gonna talk about it. I
Uh,
know.
so I took a picture and then showed it to her, and then I showed it on the plate. But what's hilarious, Tommy wasn't gonna eat none
What? Wait,
bec- be-
why?
because he thought the cilantro wasn't really cilantro because it didn't have that cilantro smell. So once I cut it, you could smell it, and it's when you cut it that
That's
you
the point.
smell it. Right.
Yes.
But see, but guess what? That's because we're not used to
No.
growing our own shit. And so in the store, it's already being cut. So you
Mhm.
smell it, it comes through. It's not
Yep.
on a damn vine, it's not coming out the ground, it's already in the store. So when I cut it, he was like, oh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Remind me to send you the video of us growing our first watermelons and cutting them open and immediately taking them and putting them in the worm bin.
Oh,
We didn't know what real watermelon looked like on the inside.
okay.
So we grew whole entire watermelon and threw it in the worm bin because we were like, this can't be real. This can't be good. We were like mortified, like immediately. So remind me to send you the video
Yeah,
of us
I
slicing
can't
the
wait.
watermelon open and being like, oh hell no, I'm not eating that.
Oh, wow. I got questions. So the other thing that's better is I'm able to extend my microphone, um, because I have
Y'all.
another little gadget that was fairly inexpensive, but I'm just really like, yay! I feel like I'm moving on up. You know, it's
Welcome to
something
the mic
simple, but it's
stand game.
yay! It's beautiful and it's easy to operate and maneuver. So yeah,
Yep.
so that's been better. What's been better with you, lady?
Lots of clarity. Lots of
Hmm.
clarity.
Okay.
Which
Do
another
tell.
reason why I wanted to do this episode and just owning stuff, figuring stuff, spelling stuff out.
Mhm.
And in my greenhouse,
Mhm.
I thought that my peppers were going to be dormant. I went through this whole process to like save my peppers so that way I wouldn't have to start from the beginning this year.
Mhm.
Put them in the greenhouse, thought they were going to be dormant. And the greenhouse was like, no, this is a party in here. So they all
Mhm.
just started regrowing. So I already picked peppers yesterday. Not supposed to be
Okay.
picking peppers yet. So I was very
What?
excited.
So
Very
that was
excited.
pretty like a fast grow then.
Yeah, I dug them up, put them to sleep like late October, early November.
Mhm.
And I would say about 5, 6 weeks after they had already started like, okay, we're getting new leaves, we're growing. And in
Nice.
the last like 2 weeks, it's been like flowers, 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 peppers, peppers,
W
peppers. And so yesterday, I think I
wow.
picked 6 peppers, different kinds,
Okay, I was
different
gonna
kinds.
ask you what kind. Yeah.
So a couple pepperoncinis, a
Mhm.
couple cayennes, a jalapeno, and a little itty bitty, it looked like a little heart, purple
Mhm.
bell pepper.
Nice. Girl,
So,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yep.
Just life, life is just coming into the world. That's beautiful.
It feels good to be in there
Mhm.
and see things already coming, and I'm gearing up. I think I'm gonna build one more bed. I think.
Mhm. Okay. And then that would be number what?
5.
Nice.
5. 5 raised beds. I think I am. I'm not for sure yet, because I need something for the peas
Oh, I
that
see.
is very long, and
Mhm.
everything I have is very, like, narrow. So
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
If I just build it, it'll be the right
Mhm.
size."
Nice.
Because we
And the
eat that many peas. So,
okay. What kind of peas? All kind of peas? Like
English peas, mostly English peas. That's what I
okay.
grew before, and that's what we typically buy. Just regular, snap them off, take them out of the pod type of peas.
That's
So,
nice. That's
another
nice.
thing to not go to the grocery store for.
Girl, let me tell you,
So,
to be able to cut you up some food or pick you some food,
mhm.
It is nothing like it.
I've been trying to tell everybody, going outside, or in your case, going to your kitchen as your grocery store
Mhm.
and not having to get in the car, put your mask on, make a list, walk I don't have to do any of that. Go
Mhm.
outside, put my gloves on, get my bowl, get my scissors, snip, 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 rinse
Mhm.
everything off.
Mhm.
I
It's
mean, it's
beautiful.
just and I know what it's in it.
Thank you. That's the part.
I
It's
know
like
exactly what's in it.
nature is in that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all natural, it's all healthy, it's alive. That's another thing.
Mhm.
It's alive and it goes right into your system. So
Yep.
you can imagine what it wakes up in your system because
Yes.
we're so used to eating um preservatives of stuff,
Right.
uh what is this?
Everything that's processed and
That
yeah.
yes. It's like this ain't processed. This is real, the real
No.
deal.
But
I love it.
seeing what colors things really are or I didn't know bell peppers came in purple
Oh wow. I
and
didn't
that when you
either.
cook them, they change back to being green. I didn't know that.
What?
Like, again, thank you, TikTok gardeners. Like,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
idea.
And it really invites me to eat more simplistic, right?
Mhm.
So less is better.
Yep.
You don't need a whole lot to really be healthy. Like
Mhm.
you just don't need a whole lot. And then I don't have to fight this weight thing because weight has been an issue all of my life. And it's
Mhm.
funny how Tommy and I we go back and forth about eating different things. I'm like, I ain't new to this. Like,
Right.
I've I've been working like carbs has been an issue ever since I realized that I want to stay a certain size. I can't
Mm.
get out of pocket with certain things. I gotta
Mhm.
still maintain. And while people can eat all of the things, pizza and hamburgers and all this bread, I can't do that. Cereal and shit. Like I had to say goodbye to that a long time ago. And if I
Yeah.
do have it, it's every now and then. So
Okay. Okay.
So eating vegetables is my jam because I can eat as much as I want, and I ain't gaining an extra
Has
pound.
has this sparked any kind of like, okay, maybe I'll expand to
Uh-uh.
outside or are you still
No, it ain't do that. It ain't do that.
She said, "Look here,
No,
don't be
not
asking too
yet.
much."
Not right. Yeah, not yet. Let me move to San Diego first, right? Let me get to a warmer climate and
Warmer
less
than
on my
this?
plate.
Oh,
Girl,
okay.
Georgia is fickle as a pickle. Like, and I'm glad you said that shit. So it got warm yesterday and the day
Yes.
before, it was warm. Today I go outside and I feel a chill. I was instantly mad, Sylvia. I was
Mhm.
pissed. And because we're
Welcome.
supposed to be going walking today. And I'm
Oh,
like,
it is. Oh, yeah.
I'm
Mm-mm.
ready for the cold because we put on layers, but I wasn't ready. It was warm for the past couple of days. And it's cold. I was like,
It may or may not get down to, like, the 20s again next week. Like,
see, that's that
and I'm
bullshit.
paying attention a lot now because if anybody follows my TikTok or my Instagram, like, I have been on this Farmer's Almanac hardcore this year,
Right, right.
and I'm following, like, the frost schedule,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not even starting things until it's, like, on there, like, this date is the good day to start these things.
Mm-hmm.
So, knowing that next week is, like, it might be bad. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
putting that out there. Don't do this,
Right.
that kind
Right.
mm-mm. So I know. Georgia is
Yeah.
like, "Maybe today, maybe not. Maybe I'll
Thank
snow.
you.
Maybe I'll be a tornado."
Georgia's a trip. I
It
love you,
is.
Georgia, but I'm about to leave your ass. Let me just
Yeah,
let you know.
it's wild, very
Mhm.
wild.
Yeah,
So,
so
let's start this. So, if we're listening to the episodes in order, you know that last week I was having a crying fallout mess, and I couldn't quite put words to how I was feeling until
mhm.
later. Um,
Right, right,
so what I was feeling like was like I was in this sad circle.
right.
I was sad, and I couldn't figure out why I was sad, and I was getting frustrated,
Mhm.
and then I didn't wanna do anything because I was frustrated,
Right.
which made me feel guilty because I wasn't
Mm.
doing anything, which then I felt sad. So I was just going in this circle, and I was like, "I have to get the fuck out of this circle,
Right, right.
and I have to figure out why I'm in the circle."
Mhm.
And as I started processing and talking and going back and forth and having conversations with you and having conversations with Drew and just having conversations with everybody in my circle, I felt unsupported.
Right.
I felt unseen. I felt
Mhm.
unheard, and I was frustrated by it.
Right.
But I wasn't owning my part in it, and I wasn't also explaining what I needed.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. Keep it going,
And
girl.
so once I was able to like put into words with everyone, like, this is exactly what the fuck I am feeling. It was it was strange to me because I was seeing everybody's like, oh,
Yeah. How did you do that though? How did you get to that place to put it into words?
it was a moment of like, what is missing? Okay, what exactly is missing? But it was
Okay.
also realizing, it was it was crazy.
Mhm.
Let me be very clear about this. It was very crazy because I was having the conversation with Drew
Mhm.
and I was saying, like, I have to leave. I have to like lose myself because everybody else in my circle speaks this language, this
Right.
introverted, non social media based, non outward, all these things. Everybody else talks like this. And this is what
Mhm.
everybody else does. And
Right.
everybody else doesn't really care about like posting or
Right. Right.
growing an audience or any of these things, and I was taking that as no one cares about this show, and I care about this
Right.
show,
Right.
and part of having to care about this show was, like, I have to deal in social media. I just
Mhm.
have to. This is how
Right.
things are marketed now, this is how things are
Mhm.
promoted now. I have to interact with other people
Right.
because I feel like this show is needed.
It is. It is.
So, I was like, "But it's not working."
Mhm.
And I'm the
Mhm.
common denominator,
Right.
so I have to change. I have
Right.
to either lose myself, I have to change how I think, I have to do all these things. I can't be me and it still work.
Right.
But then I started thinking more and more about going where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated,
Right.
and having to figure out, well, I love all these people. All these people say they love me back.
Right.
How do I explain to them how I need to be loved, how I feel? And so once I was able to like go, okay, tell Lori exactly what you need from her.
Right.
Tell Drew exactly what you need from him. And then just see if they can at least meet you halfway.
Right.
Can
So
you
then
bare minimum do the thing?
right, who said that to you? Was that the
Oh,
higher
it was an
level thing?
internal, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It was
And
all in
right.
here.
The reason why I'm saying that is because we all have that mechanism. It was your gut. Your gut spoke to you, your intuition, because your intuition is your gut is God. Like, I don't care how you say it.
Mhm.
The Holy Spirit, God, Jesus, the ancestors, the source, the universe, like whatever you want to call it, we are created by an omniscient, present, uh, there's another one, being.
Mhm.
And that being speaks to us
Yeah.
in unctions through people, right? Through your own audible voice. Like it's,
Whispers. Mhm.
yes, it's trying to reach you to tell you something to be better.
Yeah.
And so that love that came that said, "Hey, Sylvia, I love you so much. Ask Lori for what you want. Ask Drew for what you want. You matter.
Mhm.
Like you ultimately are important. Speak it from your soul, knowing, have that inner knowing that you matter." I'm
Yeah.
so glad you listened because guess what? When that comes to us, it's like we're not necessarily listening, or we get so in that tangent of we don't matter that keeps playing in the
Yes.
background every time the Holy Spirit or every time the source keeps coming to you to prompt you. you're not paying attention because you on
No.
some other shit. And we
Yes.
miss out.
And so when I was able to finally, like, put it to words
Mhm.
and show examples,
Mhm.
and this didn't take, like it wasn't like a 5-minute thing, y'all. This took
Mhm.
days, days. Actually took weeks because I realized that it was, like, triggered piece by piece as the days were going on, like, more and more was adding to it.
Mhm.
So, having conversation with you was quite interesting because and you can share your part in it, but having the conversation with you and feeling like, "Okay, I think she finally hears me,"
Mhm.
was wild because tell everybody what happened after we had that conversation.
Right, right, right. So after we had this conversation, like a light bulb, well, it was during the conversation.
Okay.
And what's interesting is it wasn't just me. It was also my gut. It was also my intuition tapping into yours, saying she's saying something right now.
Mm,
And because Sylvia and I know a lot of people who are listening, y'all don't really know Sylvia. And Sylvia and I are really good friends. We've become really good friends. But you know, when you are getting to know a friend, you don't really know them. And
mhm.
so this is what I understand about Sylvia. She's a sweetheart and she will suffer before she lets somebody else suffer.
Yes.
And so she will internalize a thing and become the martyr of it. And you won't ever be
You will be
any.
none the wiser.
Yes. And
None.
so intuition picked up because for me, you gotta spell that shit right on out. You gotta tell me, hey Laura, sit your ass on the floor. Oh, okay. You can't beat around the bush with me. And
Mhm.
so yeah, there was a little bit of beating around the bush that was happening.
Yeah.
I I picked up on it. But again, my gut picked up on it. And so when my
Mhm.
gut picked up on it, it was like, oh, she trying to say some shit. Okay, listen right now, listen. And so that's when I started to ask you what like I was getting that feedback from what you were saying, and then I was saying to you, and then you said a little bit more, and then you said a little bit more, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Lord, you need to get off your ass and do some shit." Oh,
Yeah.
and I wasn't offended. I was
Mm.
very thankful because I appreciate when someone lets me know how they feel because what I understand is one, I care. And I know that I'm not the only one that matters in this world.
Right.
And right in that moment, I said, I care about Sylvia. I love her and I love what we're doing. I want to be of support as much as I can. And I'm learning how to ask questions. So if I don't know
Yeah.
something, I'm going to ask questions. And I can also do my part. So when you said what you told me, hey, I need you to do more. And this is again, I'm not just saying this about what happened with me and Sylvia. I'm saying to everybody, when someone is beating around the bush, it's not that so beating around the bush is almost like a little negative connotation.
It is
It,
a
they
little.
don't they don't really know what to say sometimes. And so
No.
I'm saying when that happens, intuitively allow yourself to try to read between the lines and ask questions and one, follow up with them, but also if you know, don't act like you don't know. Listen.
Lori, I think that might be the worst part of all of it,
Mhm.
is it's not like I didn't say something. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
So it's like it was a shock, but then it was a also of like it was said, but it wasn't necessarily translated.
Mhm.
That was the part.
Mhm.
It was said, but it wasn't said in a way that anybody could understand, or
Right.
it wasn't explicit,
Mhm.
or it wasn't translated into their language, like, or they
Mhm.
needed pictures. You know how some people are just like, "I
Mhm.
don't get what the hell you talking about." But if you
Yeah,
show them,
me.
they're like, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
that's me.
this?"
Mm, that's me. I already know. Like so, yes. Yeah, and so sometimes, and I will tell you, as far as our situation went, I heard you, but I didn't really understand,
Mhm.
and then my understanding other things started getting in the way of that understanding. So I didn't get back around to you to really check in. And then part
Mhm.
of me, I'm on this kick of, if somebody wants something, they're gonna tell me. Right.
Right.
And so then like I don't want to assume anything. Right.
Mhm.
So it's like and again, this is for all of us. Yes, we are not necessarily trying to assume, but if there's something that's inferred, we can also ask more questions to get clarification. And I think that would help in many relationships, especially
Yeah.
close relationships like husband and wife type of shit, or mother
Yes.
daughter, father son, mother son type of situation.
Mhm.
Siblings. Y'all come on,
Yes.
let's be more understanding of each other. Let's ask more questions. Let's try to clarify things and not leave stuff ambiguous.
Yeah.
Let's get together and build relationships. And that's one way to do it.
Right. So tell everybody what happened after.
Okay,
After we had a
so
conversation.
right. So I started writing because for me, when something comes in my mind, a lot of times it helps me to write it out so I can get more clarification. So it's almost like a manifesto to myself to say, boom, let's get on board. Because as Sylvia shared with me her vision for this podcast, it tapped into my vision for this podcast and it really ignited it to set it up into a whole another level. And so I just started writing, and it was almost like an apology to Sylvia to say, "Hey, I'm so sorry for not being awake right in that
Mhm.
moment when you were awake. Now I am awake, and let's do this shit." And I sent it to her.
That
It
was the
was it
part.
was it was kind of late. It was like what, about almost 11 o'clock when I sent
Yeah,
it
it
to
was
you.
late. But it was,
Yeah.
like, stunning because I was like, "So you're just gonna show me your journal entry?" Like,
I sure
what?
did. Right. And
So
I wanted you to get it because I'm serious.
mhm.
And when two, and so this is biblical, y'all, for people who don't have necessarily a Bible. You can look it up now. You can Google the Bible now. Where two or three are gathered, there I am in the midst. And I am is the absolute I am, the I
Mhm.
am of all creation. And so when two or three are connected on a thing, boom, the I am shows up, and that thing is powerful. So what we know, this shit is gonna take the fuck off.
Got to. Got to. Ha It has to because I just feel like this is a thing. This is a
Mhm.
thing. People need these connections. It's not for everyone,
Yeah.
but it is for someone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know I know now for sure because the more I connect with people
Mhm.
through social media, the more I see other people
Mhm.
spelling these same exact feelings out.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
know that this exists. I know
Yes.
that there's a void somewhere. I know someone needs guidance to finding their own peace.
Right. Right.
And I know that there are many different ways to do it. And
Mhm.
if this way can
Mhm.
add to it, let it add to it. Let it
Yes.
be a gift to you. So
Right.
it was extremely powerful and it was extremely like even more eye-opening to myself of like, oh, so I just wasn't explaining this in a way that each person could hear it. Because even
Right.
even Drew was like, "Oh,
Right.
okay."
Yes.
Because I was just
Yes.
like I was the conversation went completely different with him than it did with
Mhm.
me and you.
Okay.
So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of crying on my end, of course. Uh, not his end.
Wow. Yeah.
But because I was just so frustrated, I was like,
Yeah.
how does everyone I had made the joke before and then it was like serious at that point. It was like, I didn't want this to turn out to be like I was some mixtape rapper.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
you got all these skills, but all you
Right.
got is mixtapes. No
That's
one's really
sad.
buying into it.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is
So,
the thing with the buy-in, what I'm
mhm,
understanding is that's why I'm saying when two or three are gathered, right? When you spoke about it early on, I
Mhm.
heard it, but I wasn't buying in. You had
Mhm.
already bought in.
Yeah,
And so because you bought in, it's like, am I only one out here buying in? And
that's how
and
I felt.
that's right. And that's but see, discouragement is always all the lower vibrations are always it's like a constant invitation to the party, right? And so
Yes.
the invitation is be discouraged, honey. Go ahead. Go ahead and be
Mhm.
discouraged. Go on ahead
Every
and think you're by yourself.
and the more I didn't feel like anybody was bought in, the more I was like, "Why do we keep doing this?" But
Mm-hmm.
things would keep happening and
Mm-hmm.
people would keep coming and, there would be good comments and positivity and things like that. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, maybe somebody will hear me this week, and
Yeah.
each week would go by and I was like, okay, this is not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you the tipping point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was episode 2. Whatever episode you were like, none of this happens without Sylvia and I just get on here and talk.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the day when I was like, okay. Like, it was just everything kind of pivoted in that moment of like,
Did it pivot up or
"Oh,
down?
no." It pivoted down.
Oh, okay.
It
Okay.
pivoted down
Okay.
because
And
I was like,
what was
"I
your
need
thought
you
in
to
that
do more
moment?
than just talk.
Ah, see, I didn't
I
know.
needed more than that." So it was like,
Right. And see,
she's still not here."
right, when you don't know what you don't know,
No.
you just and so Imma say this. We can't get weary in well doing because you were still doing well. You were still doing the things. We can't
Mhm.
get weary. We can't give up is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
we can't stop even if somebody's asleep and I'm gonna say I was asleep at the wheel. I can admit that I was asleep at the wheel and I've learned from that space to get on board, to be more than a mouthpiece, right?
Mhm.
And initially I thought that's what all I needed to do. I didn't
Mhm.
realize and so this is the other thing. We can't read minds, right?
No.
We have to all of us we have to speak up. We have to tell our loved ones what we need, what we desire because if we're waiting for them to do it just because of osmosis, that ain't
Mhm.
going to work. And
Yeah.
so and we also on the other end if we're not speaking up, we can't get weary in the things that we're doing because in due season we're gonna reap just like you're planting, which I love these analogies, how we talk about what's been better in our gardening and things like that, because we have to plant the seed. We just
Mhm.
have to keep planting the seed. And so thank you so much, Sylvia, for still, even though things I had said didn't go over well with you, you didn't say, fuck that shit.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
because
out.
what you just what you just said is like, I'll suffer in silence first.
Hmm.
No one
Yeah.
will ever know until it begins to show, until the
Hmm.
cracks begin to
Hmm.
show because I allow those cracks to show.
Right. Right.
Because clearly I let a whole entire season
Hmm.
of this show go by
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
of doing a fucking lot
I
under
let
the
you too.
umbrella of, "I just do the most. It's fine. I just do
Mhm.
the most. I just do."
I thought you
No,
liked doing the most. I was just like, "Okay, let me get out the way." And
I
that's the
don't.
thing.
Yeah, it's like, yes, I enjoy doing the most. But at some point, the most is heavy as fuck, and you need another
Yes.
person to carry
Right.
part of the load to do something. So it was just
Mhm.
like,
Right.
I
Right.
think I was constantly saying, "I just need everyone to do the bare minimum."
And
But
nobody
I
knew
wasn't
what the
explaining, "What
bare
the fuck
minimum
is the bare
yes.
minimum?"
Right.
So
And then also with, we know about wrestling.
yes!
Tap out. Like,
Tap the fuck
I'm
out.
done. Right.
Yeah,
Tap the shit out. Like, say it. Hey, Lori, can you do and
but
for
I was
me, and I'm yeah.
terrified.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was
No, no,
terrified.
no, it's fine. And I hear you, and I hear you. And so I love the fact that one, we can communicate with each other, which I think is
Mhm.
paramount in every relationship. Talk
Yes.
and share how you feel because your feelings matter. And
Mhm.
the other person, as they're sharing their feeling, don't be like, well, you did so and so. That ain't even the time. That's
Yeah.
not the time. We listen to how someone feels, acknowledge them,
Yeah.
And even if you don't even agree, imagine that it happened to you and speak about how you can really get it. Like,
That.
I can see how that's the truth. I can see how, like, identify with that. Identify with it for a second, because then that lets the other person know that they matter. Like, I
Yes.
know I matter, but I need to know also on your end that you think I matter too.
It's it's
Whew.
the it's the whole thing about it being like, well, it's self-esteem. Yes, it is. However, I do not want to have all the self-esteem in the world, have all the confidence in the world, self whatever in the world, and walk down a path of 40 episodes in one direction and everybody just look
Mhm.
at me, just glassed over eyes, not saying anything.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
saying this is good, not saying this is bad, not saying this is trash, nothing.
Mhm.
Nothing
Mhm.
is being said.
Right.
Like it
Right.
it has been a very upsetting time
Mhm.
in my
Mhm.
life to be doing
Yeah.
something that I feel is great and to
Mhm.
have people in my life, their phone numbers in my phone. I have had dinner with you at my house.
Mhm.
You have thousands of people on your timeline
Wow.
and you never think that just hitting a free button that is the share
Right.
button
Right.
would be helpful.
Right. And I'm gonna speak to that though, and I'm so glad you said that, Sylvia, because this is the thing. When when you talk about somebody in your phone, that means you have like a very close relationship with them.
Mhm.
And so then we self-identify. And
Mm,
so it's to say, well, I really haven't done anything noteworthy. So
mm,
I'm not going to promote myself. So I'm not going to promote this person either. Um, and it's not personal. It's just like, who going to listen? Who going to, it's that. And,
mhm.
and, and people outside of us that really don't know us take off and run. You don't know how many people have taken this conversation that we're having, these episodes, and shared it with someone else. And that's
No.
why I'm saying we can't get weary, because if somebody next to us doesn't see us, that's okay.
Yeah.
We have to really, that's when that, like you said, it is self esteem. Like when that intuition says you're worthy, keep doing
Mhm.
what you're doing. Don't stop just because you see all these other people not doing. Even when we say to people week after week, hey, if you got questions, hit
Yeah.
us up, blah blah blah. Or if you want to be on the show, like we say this, and so we're saying it now, and we're getting crickets. But this is not forever, and we
Yeah.
have to act as though what we desire has already come to pass.
And be grateful in it. So, thank you to the
Yes.
higher power for granting us again another week with this voice to be able to share it with others and that it will go as far and as wide as it will go.
Right.
And that
And we
all of this
claim
will
it
continue
right
to be
now.
possible. Yes.
Right. Because this is the other thing that came true for me when Sylvia really spoke and I heard it. I'm always thinking, and we're always talking about, imagine a world that you want to live in. And
Mhm.
so, as I imagine a world I want to live in, we get to speak about this every week. That's me imagining the world I want to live in. I am tapping into my community. Sylvia is tapping into her community. We're speaking to people to encourage you, to
Mhm.
enlighten you, to say we're in solidarity with you. We cry
Yeah.
with you. We laugh with you. We do all these things to say, hey, man, we're in this space together. We're growing, we're learning, we're 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 better.
Yeah.
Every day we're getting better.
Yeah.
So that's the whole impetus of what we do. So
And I
whew,
think yes, deep breath. I think another triggering moment was I was in all of this at the same time. I
yeah.
read so much and I love
Mhm.
autobiographies and I love
Yes.
autobiographies um audio
Yeah.
versions, especially if they're read
Right.
by the author.
The person, yeah.
So we had read Will Smith's book together and that was a
Yeah.
little bit like back then that was a little triggering and Trevor Noah's book, which was a little triggering. And then I read Viola Davis's book and I was like,
Blown away.
"Oh boy." And
Mhm.
then so that was all last season. So I was just, it was like little piece
Right.
each time.
Right.
And then it came to this season and I started reading Prince Harry's book.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about owning your shit.
Right. Right.
I mean, seeing a person really bare their soul like that,
Right.
while also in tandem calling other people to the carpet of like, you're fucking up. We have to do better. I have to do better because these people are being harmed and I'm being harmed. It was it was a little bit awakening also of like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I need to speak up.
Right. Right.
Because that book was just, I don't want to ruin it because I know you haven't read it yet. It's on your list of books to read though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. It even his talking about alcohol and
Mm-hmm.
drugs and
Mm-hmm.
going to therapy for the first time and trying to figure all those things out and just owning who he was
Mm-hmm.
and who he wants to be.
Right. Right.
It was it was an interesting paradox also because it's like you're a fucking prince.
Right.
You have everything.
Right.
You're perfectly
Right.
fine. You're a
Mm-hmm.
white man. You have all these
Mm-hmm.
things. You're perfectly
Mm-hmm.
fine. But seeing that he was just human, that
Right.
we all go through this craziness, that
Right.
we all are suffering in silence,
Yep.
that we all choose whatever path, but we also have a choice to get off that path if it's not
Exactly.
serving us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's it was kind of that. So all this January wasn't as tumultuous as January 2023 was not as tumultuous as January 2022, but it was still growing pains of
Mm-hmm.
this transitioning into the person I want to be versus who I'm known as,
Right. Right.
which is totally different.
Exactly. Oh my
So,
goodness, it is. It's
yeah,
so different. This is
so
good.
different.
This is so good. This is so enlightening. This has been an enlightening episode for me as I think about this. And I'm
Mhm.
definitely going to, hopefully within this week, because today is the 10th, because every 10th of the month, Audible gives me a credit. so,
Oh, okay. When
so
you read
I'm
that
so
book, I'm
excited.
telling you.
Right. It's on and popping. And I'm gonna challenge everyone to step outside their comfort zone. And just like Sylvia was saying, there's a person you desire to be, and it's a fight, with the person that you are. Let's lean into the person we want to be,
Yeah,
that we really see ourselves being. Let's lean into that and let's do the things that has that person show up.
yeah. And um let me be very clear when I say this. If you believe in this show, if you believe in what we are doing, but this might not be something that you tune into every day or every week, share it with someone.
Yeah.
Even
Do
if you
that.
don't think that they need it, you just think, oh, this is a funny thing that they said, or this is an interesting thing that they said. Share it. Share it however you can share it. Share an episode, share our pages, um, do something to let us know that we're not walking down a path lonely or in the wrong
Exactly.
direction.
Mhm. And Imma say this, I thank you. I thank you for
Yeah,
that. I thank you for sharing because that's giving, right? You're paying it forward. You're going to be blessed. Trust me
yeah,
when I tell you.
yes. We appreciate you. All right. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Thanks for watching.
That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
And I'm Sylvia Johnson, and you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagan Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
We want to hear what's been better for you. To be a guest on the show, send us an email to questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. Or you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at What's Been Better Podcast.
Thanks for listening.